check the mic check.
Mic check, baby.
We're back, episode 3 of the Grown Ups Podcast.
We got a special guest today. We got
Miles Watson,
also known as Chef. Chef Miles, baby.
So,
So, other than me asking you to be here, why are you here? Let's hear it.
Well, like I told you before, I have been excited to be here. It's beyond belief, especially in the time period that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, I've been super pumped. I've also loved what you guys have been doing, and I think this is an amazing thing. And, you know, I just wanted to be a part of you guys' project of greatness, you know, like. So.
Got a big message to spread.
yeah, and we're excited to have you. I mean, it's special being the first guest on our podcast. So
I'm honored.
We really appreciate it. You did write us some ideas for today. I'm excited. I love them.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Before you start,
yeah, okay, go
any
ahead,
ones
go.
you want to start with first?
yeah, you pick one.
We'll give the
You
guest
pick
the
one, we'll
honor.
go for it.
Well, you know, let's talk about like 2020 as a whole. So
Okay.
we can honestly probably go in order. I think
Yeah.
that's a better idea.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So you know, let's recap. You know, what
Yeah.
2020's been for each of us. You know,
It's been
A big pile of crap.
you're telling me.
Yeah, no, so, 2020, rough year. Definitely one for the books. A lot of people going through a lot of stuff, a lot of internal struggle. That's actually the first point, internal struggles. So yeah, let's hear. Let's see what we got.
my key word for 2020 would be perspective.
Yeah.
Like learning a lot about internal perspective, outward perspective. Just like
See,
that
that's
is like the perfect word for
That's
me
the
for
thing, right off the
2020.
bat. People give 2020 a bad rap. Say, "Oh, it was a crap year."
As you
I
did.
want to. Yeah, no, well, yeah, but okay, but people say, like, I want to
Yeah,
forget it even happened. I want to pretend it didn't even happen. Whatever. The way I look at it, it's more like, I learned a lot, about myself and about all the people around me. For me, it was more of like a lesson, instead of like just a crappy chapter that you want to rip out of a book, So like internal struggles. Let's transition into that. What exactly do you want to touch on with that?
Well, more so when I think of internal struggles, the first thing that pops into my mind is mental health.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the fact that for a lot of people, men, women, guys, girls, 2020 seemed to be a lot about that because of, one, this pandemic, and also a lot of people secluding themselves and whatnot like that. And for me, from a personal standpoint, it was a mix of all that. More so, I'm not afraid to say, I'm not going to shy away from saying I struggle with depression.
Yeah.
And how 2020 went, especially more so when COVID really kicked off.
Yeah.
It really shook me to a core and it really tested me.
Yeah.
And what's very interesting is, now that I look back from it, like the lessons like I learned, like Garrett said, it's amazing where I was at one point and where I am now mentally.
The growth. Yeah.
It all ties
it's the
in.
growth.
Yeah.
And I just feel like for a lot of people out there, we were fighting demons.
Yeah.
But also
absolutely.
for the ones that were able to make it out, I applaud them because it's not easy. A lot of people, for the way that they're struggling is because of, one, maybe the household they're in and what they're told to do, especially during this pandemic.
Yeah.
Or more so the choices that people make. And, you guys can vouch for this. You guys definitely, we all have friends where we haven't been able to see them.
Yeah.
And it
Loneliness.
sucked because they, for either the reasons of their own personal reasons or the reasons that their family has enforced on them, that they are being stuck in their homes.
Yeah.
And not being able to be social, not being able to hang out. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people are struggling right now, because people think that they're doing themselves or their family a favor by locking themselves in their home. And I'm just sitting there just like, no wonder you're struggling.
Yeah.
Because from each of our personal experiences, we did it from March to August for the most part. And we felt awful, And a lot of times I feel it's worse for guys too, because with guys, we don't a lot of times get the attention that we deserve with this because we're told to be strong. We're told to, it's not masculine to have demons, to struggle and whatnot like that. So for me, it's interesting. And a lot of people, I haven't been able to see a lot of my friends because they made the decision to seclude themselves, and then later on I would see either on social media or them texting that they're struggling. No wonder you're struggling.
Yeah.
Get out of your house. I know it's not that simple,
Yeah.
and I know, I might get flamed for saying
Well,
that.
it's certainly a lot easier now than it was back
Yeah,
in August
and definitely.
or July or whatever would be the case. But it's just, I can certainly relate on a personal level to you with the whole depression thing. Being me, I already struggle with things like that. And so being, secluded from everything else in the world that keeps my mind occupied and keeps me, going throughout the day, being secluded from that and like having that all just one day just stripped away from me. It was tough, it's a big growth period and it was a lot of, getting used to something you were never used to before.
Exactly.
And it's just, it was tough, apparently, especially at the beginning, because it just felt like all semblance of normalcy was just gone like that.
It was
like
shock.
that.
It was just a shock.
Yeah. It's like anything. It's like you go to the gym and you try a new workout and it shocks your muscle.
Right? You feel
It's
like
it was
crap
like
afterwards.
it was like a workout. It was like a new
Literally.
workout that you never done before. It just it took your body and just put it through shock.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, are still trying to recover from it.
They are.
So,
But what I'm noticing with a lot of people, though, is that, and this is, in my opinion, a remedy to, not necessarily a remedy, but more so a coping mechanism with, struggling with mental health, is you want to be around people you care about. And I'm going to make it 100% clear. I'm not saying go out and party and go here.
Exactly.
Don't put your health and your body in danger. I'm saying if you have a small group of people, and we all do,
yes.
and you know where they are at all times, you know the responsibilities they have, why can't you be around them?
Absolutely.
And that's something I've been scratching my head and trying to wrap, my arms around for a while, because people really think that you step outside your house, you're going to get sick and die.
Yeah,
and that's
I know.
not the
Dude,
case.
It's true. I mean,
I don't get it.
When this first started in March, and I was like shocked. Finishing school like that was hard as hell. But I decided to train for half marathon. I needed to get out of the house. I needed to run. But the funniest thing was, I'll be running, people wearing masks in their cars.
Yeah, that
like,
I never understood.
no one's with you.
Ever by themselves in the car, but not to get political or anything.
I understand.
but in the car by yourself.
No,
it's the same thing.
In your
like,
own
if
car
you
that you only drive. You're the only one who's in there. I don't know. I just feel like it adds to the stigma.
Yeah.
That's like you can't go anywhere or do anything.
I agree. Loneliness has increased tremendously.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
During this period, and some studies said it's good, but from a personal standpoint, I think all can agree it's not. It kills you.
It's sort of there's the people coin the term. It's some things are the best of both worlds. This was sort of like the worst of both worlds, especially for me, right? Okay, so the kind of person I am is like when I'm out all day and doing stuff, it's refreshing to be home and be alone and just calm yourself down and just be alone, just spend some alone time.
Yeah.
But when it becomes to the point where that's all you can do, it's like you're just crying to get out,
Literally.
So it just took your world and just completely flipped it the other way.
Yeah.
At least in my case, that's what it did.
And some people have actually been able to manage, and some people are able to work, whether it's internships or jobs. I'm talking about people our age.
Yeah.
And it's it's been able to keep their mind occupied. But it's like, okay, once you go home or once you check social media and you see that your buddies are hanging out without you, you're just like, damn, and I can't leave my house.
Yeah.
And what stinks with this whole thing is just a lot of the people that we are friends with, they're starting to develop their parents' mentality.
Yeah.
With the idea that if I step outside, I'll get COVID, but I still want to keep in touch with you. Mm-hmm. It's just, this is where I kind of sound like a bit of an ass when I say this, but honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, go for it.
You're going to come to a point where people are going to stop hitting you up or anything like that, because they're just going to assume that, oh, he can't leave this or she can't leave her house.
Right. So what's the point?
What's the point of even reaching out? Mm-hmm. And then they're going to be like, I thought we were friends. Well, we are, but you keep secluding yourself from me or us or the group and whatnot like that. So what more can I do? I try. Mm-hmm. We tried as a group. And we all have a bunch of friends like that.
Yes.
That's a large contingent of my friends. And it's crazy because the reason why I chose to go back and stay on campus at school was so I can see all my friends.
The human contact.
And, the human contact. And a large percentage of my friends I still haven't seen. Mm-hmm. Because whether it's their own choosing or being forced by their parents, and in that situation, that's really unfortunate. Right. They have not been able to see me, and they're struggling internally, like right now, going back to that point of internal struggle, because they have not been able to get out of the house, with the exception of maybe going to the grocery store or working. And I'm just like, it's crazy, and this is the last thing I want to say. You have a higher chance, and I was so tempted to say this to some of my friends but I was like, you know what, it's not worth it. Yeah. You have a higher chance of contracting COVID in the supermarket than coming to hang out with me.
Absolutely.
The minute you touch that PIN pad when you pay with a credit card,
at least 1,000 other people have touched it.
It is fair game. But you can hang out with me, which I clean my apartment every day. I wear a mask every time I go out. We wash our hands. Nothing will happen to you.
Exactly.
I'm not throwing bangers in my apartment.
Exactly.
I'm trying to hang out with people. Like, come on. I have 4 or 5 friends I'm trying to hang out with. Like, I'm not trying to, get everybody sick. Mm-hmm. Like we all have at-risk people in our households and stuff like that. So we know we're not dumb.
Yeah.
But people just can't grasp that concept, And
it kind of segues into our next topic of people are sitting home on social media and they're thinking this is real life. Like, I'm just gonna sit here all day.
They one of the main things that I think is the matter with social media is influencers. They're toxic. They go out and they live these lifestyles that people are looking at and they're astonished by.
Not the average daily man does.
They're astonished by it, and they see these pictures of them, in Prague and in Greece and wherever the hell they go, and they're like, why can't I do this? Why am I locked in my bedroom with no one to talk to, and these people are out partying on yachts and blah blah blah? And it's just I think it's just a very toxic thing to do to yourself, to take in all of that content and relate it to your own life,
I actually have 2 personal takes on that.
Go ahead.
I agree with you both entirely. I had a conversation with one of my friends yesterday, and we were talking about social media, and we all have friends who do this. Like, girls will tend to send us hey, should I post this? What do you think of me posting this? And a lot of times what they post will be 10 out of 10 amazing. They look hot as hell, like that. And she was an example of that. But because of the toxicity of social media, she feels like she needs to hit this standard so she gets this amount of likes, so these certain people hit it. Meanwhile, I used to be like that. Mm-hmm. And to a certain extent, I might still feel a type of way if I get a low amount of likes, but still, I'm just I use social media. Yeah, I use Instagram, for example, as a photo album. Yeah. That's how I see it. I see it as I want to be able to look back and see all these pictures or all these videos or all my workout content or all my whatever photo shoot stuff, and be able to look back and say, wow, this is where I was in life. Yeah. Not, oh, wow, this picture got 200 likes. This picture got 50 likes.
I wonder what's wrong with it.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I not good looking?
It ties back into all the things that you say in your head.
And she was, my friend, she was just talking I'm lucky if I can get 300 likes. I'm like, why are you basing your worth on the amount of likes you get when half of the people, not even half, let's just say 200 of the 300 people don't give a crap about you. They don't give a crap about you.
Exactly.
So why does that matter,
Exactly.
And then my other friend, he's one of my best friends, we actually both contemplated the idea of deleting social media.
I love
it. He's the king of that.
I'm the king of
He's the king of deleting social media.
Explain.
It's just
the king of it.
It leads me down paths that I don't want to go. I'll be sitting there all day, like you said, my self-worth, I'm looking at this and that. And then you got to deal with looking at women. So I started unfollowing a bunch of people because I don't want to see this. I don't want to put my life in a standard. I want to value myself highly.
Exactly.
So I was like, if I get rid of it, and I tried it for a good month when I was training over the summer, you wake up and you're like, okay, well, I don't check my phone, so
what else can I do that's meaningful?
I walked to the bathroom this morning with a new mindset because I've never done this before without checking my phone, not stimulating my brain like that. So what it did is it kind of brought back creativity and originality, and I'm back on it now a little bit, but I'm not as active, and it has actually tremendously helped mental health and my self-worth. So, I mean, I don't know what your take is on no social media, but I actually absolutely loved it, and I would honestly do it again if we made a pact and do it.
Honestly, I will experiment with that because I think that's honestly a fantastic idea. But I've also gotten to a point where, you know, with me and, you know, Garrett, you can vouch for me. I just post whatever's on my mind.
Yeah.
Like on Snapchat or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if I look like a mess right after working out. I don't care if I clean myself up. I will post whatever is on my mind. I have like 3 different private stories.
Yeah.
Like,
one thing I will say.
It doesn't even matter to me. I will say.
I love the weekly polls.
Thank you. I love the weekly polls.
No, but with you, it's a healthy kind because you put yourself out there in a way that people are scared to. You be your true self through your phone and in real life. You like, it's with you. When I get a Snapchat from you, it's something new every day. I can't predict what it's gonna be. There's some people where I get a Snapchat from them or I get a text from them and I'm like, I already know what this is gonna say before I open it. With you, it's fair game. It's free game. You know, it can go anywhere.
And that's where the originality and creativity comes in.
That's a good way to use social media.
The reason why my last point was the reason why I do those polls is actually that has really nothing to do with social media. I've never perceived myself as someone who's all-knowing and that I know everything and I'm, you know, and stuff like that. I like to gauge opinions on issues that affect our generation. So a lot of times, it'll take me a whole week to think of a poll. And now they're getting even harder because a lot of the good, juicy content that I would be posting is gone.
Yeah.
So, like, one time I saw a post something, like, the first time I did it was, like, can, you know, couples have best friends of the opposite sex while they're in a relationship? And because I saw a post about that, and I was like, wow, I should do this. And the response was so good, I was like, you know what? Let me do this once a week. And I did that. I did mental health. I did more relationship stuff and stuff like that. And, you know, I was just interested in the responses and the answers of people. And a lot of times it'd be crazy because some of the people that are the closest of friends are in the same friend group saying completely different answers. And I would be like, whoa, what? Like, it was insane. So, you know, I appreciate you, you know, you telling me that, you love my polls. I gotta start that back up again. I haven't done one for the new year yet, but no, I appreciate that because I just love doing that just to get see what people would say and whatnot like that. That was the only time where for me traffic and feedback through social media mattered.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to see what people would say.
Yeah.
Not like, you know, how many likes I would get or how much attention I would get, blah, blah, blah.
It's garnering different perspectives of thought, which is really what social media is supposed to be about, is seeing different perspectives of life. But people use it in the wrong way, and they don't use it for their own productivity. They use it for, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They use it for like a reputation almost, you know?
Reputation.
Or like a public image.
Personal valuation.
Yeah,
personal evaluation, thirst trapping.
Exactly.
You know, things like that. But
yeah, I don't know, as a person, like when I look at social media now, I'm like, and I see those things that are just the same old usual, like I'm like, this ain't no fun.
What's
like,
the point of it?
Just get rid of it. Like, I don't want to see this.
It's just consuming time.
Give me something interesting. Give me a story. Give me a lesson you learned. Like, I know it's not like the popular thing to do, but do it. Like,
exactly.
That's how you grow and develop.
I'm still in that transitional period. So like you both obviously are what's the word? You're more down the road in terms of using social media. Not necessarily less often, but for a more
the right reasons.
Yeah, the right reasons. I'm still in that phase where I'm like, Instagram. Let me just scroll through for like an hour, and then what do you know? Boom! It's an hour gone by that I just wasted my time when I could be doing something so much more worthwhile. You know?
Yeah, one of the big things for me was like that phone screen time thing. I turned that on, so it would force me to be on it much less, and I would only be on it to really see, you know, my friends' stories and whatnot like that, like my closest friends, you know, including you too. I would only check people's, like, that kind of people's stuff. Most people's stories I don't even check. I mute most people because I'm just like, I don't care. You know, like, I don't care, you know?
Yeah.
But,
That was awesome.
So that tackles internal struggles, mental health, social media. You have any more, like, exotic points you want to bring up about that,
well, I think we pretty much hit it on. We did hit on the head with 2020 because I feel like that's what most of it was about. Even though when we tackle 2021, I'm gonna be going back a little bit to 2020, but in terms of those points, I think we basically hit it on the head.
Yeah, so I think it's good to use 2020 as sort of a
stepping stone.
Not a stepping stone, like a ground mark, because most of us in 2020 were at our absolute low. So if you can use that as like your stepping stone, basically, and just be like, hey, I did this so much better this year than I did last year. That's a huge improvement,
100%.
Because if you can compare, it's not about compare, and that all ties back into, the whole influencer thing. It's not about comparing yourself to somebody else. It's about comparing yourself to who you used to be, And if you can say, hey, I'm doing this a lot better than I did a year ago, then, good on you.
100%. No, you're 100% on point, bro.
Yeah, so we could segue.
That actually sort of transitions perfectly into self-worth. Yeah, that's under your little the moments of realization. Self-worth.
That's a big
self-love.
One. That is a big one.
Yeah.
So, actually, this happened right before 2021. In the month of December, I had a moment of realization. Mm-hmm. Reason being, like you said, I hit probably arguably one of the lowest points in my life in that I contemplated for myself, and my parents see this, hi mom, but I contemplated how much longer I would be on earth, mm-hmm. in the darkest way possible. But then I had a moment of realization where I was just like, you know what, regardless of what happens, regardless of who sees the value in me, who doesn't, I'm going to see the value in myself. And that's where the big thing of self-worth and self-love come hand in hand.
That's amazing.
Because to me, that is dead with this generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is just, it is non-existent. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. Yeah. It just doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. In that people feel like they have to crave love from other people.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they just don't love themselves.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I feel like in order to love others, you have to love yourself first.
Yeah.
And I've started to actually appreciate myself within the last month on a level that I never have had in my entire life. And a lot of people in their lifetime have that flip the switch, flip, moment in their life. And for me, that's what it was. That was, I looked, because I always looked at the glass half empty, and I decided for once, maybe actually let me look at the glass half full. And I said, okay, I'm healthy. I'm in good shape. I have a basis and a group of people who love and care about me, regardless of if these other people don't. Mm-hmm. And, I see myself as an intelligent, person, stuff like that. I'm going to school. I'm getting an education. I'm getting both a graduate and an undergraduate degree. Life is pretty good. Is it where I want it to be at the moment? No, but a lot of things, a lot of times things come within time. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to realize that. And one of the things I started doing, which, you asked me this 2 months ago, I would have been like, that's the dumbest thing ever. I took, and shout out to my god sister for making me do this, I took Post-its. And I would write affirmations that applied to me, not just random affirmations like, the sun is always shining. No, I talked about affirmations that apply to me. And I would put it in points in my room where I look the most.
I love that.
So on my wall right next to my bed, the minute I wake up, I always turn left. There's affirmations right there. On the wall right next to my TV when I play PlayStation, affirmations right there. My cupboard in my kitchen where I open the most for food, there's 2 affirmations right there. And the big one, the mirror in the bathroom. Yeah. I have 3 right there.
If it's not too personal, what was the one that was most important to you? That really got you, to be wow, this is I am more than I thought I was.
There's not one. There's probably 2 or 3.
Okay.
One of them is you are loved by many.
Okay.
Which the amount of people that have communicated with me, especially in 2020 about this, made me, see that, okay, damn, that is true. And also, one of the funny ones is don't let the idiots ruin your Monday. I like that one a lot. And then the other one is, more so, I think it was like, I'm reserving myself for the person that truly deserves me, Yeah. And that's where it falls in the relationship part, because for my entire life, I felt like I've been lonely.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm lonely, it's that women in this generation right now can't handle me, can't handle you, can't handle kings like us, because we are built different. And that is something I had to learn and accept and appreciate.
I really like that.
Not that,
it's fantastic.
Not that, I'm doing something wrong, because we're not.
Yeah.
And I'm not. It's just more so right now, it's just no. And, every now and then does it bother me, like, damn, I'm single, stuff like that. Yeah, it does.
It's only human.
But, it's just right now, there has to be a reason. And, regardless, and, this is where the moment of realization, continues. Regardless, whether you're religious or not, for people who are religious Christians believe, God is that higher power. And, for other religions, there is a higher power. There has to be a reason why, for people who struggle, they are still on earth in 2021. Mm-hmm. There has to be a reason why you're not off this earth. Mm-hmm. We're being put through a test. And when we come out of that test, we're going to look back and be like, damn. We're going to be like, damn, I made it out of that. Yeah. I made it off the lowest point of my life. And that's kind of what I felt, that I was at the lowest of the lows towards the end of 2021, low. Yeah. Some of the things, I thought I believed about myself.
I'm right
some
there
of the
with
things
you.
that people would tell me, to a point where I was just like, all right, enough is enough. To a point where a lot of times now what happens, whether, I get rejected for a job or an internship, or, the amount of times women have told me, oh, I'd rather be single than be with you, it doesn't affect me anymore. I just be like, okay, I know I can do better than that. I know I can do better than that. I know you can do better than that. I know you can do better than that. Exactly. I know every, king out there,
and someone else can do values like that.
And someone else will value me and value us like that. And, that's where more so that, not just applying to me, and for any king, I'm saying king specifically, because we are not appreciated enough in the year 2021. Remember, you are loved, you are appreciated, and if they can't handle you right now, oh well, screw them. Mm-hmm.
That's
honestly,
amazing.
Screw them. And, because down the road, somebody will. Mm-hmm. Somebody will, that person, that significant other of your dreams, I'm not going to just say just women, because, it doesn't, everybody, has their different preferences and stuff like that. But, that significant other of your dreams, or that friend group of your dreams, or that, whoever that is, that key person in your life of your dream, down the road will appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And I've learned that, and I'm accepting that for the first time in my life. And that's kind of where the moment of realization comes, because I've realized that some of the great things, that I've had, that all of us have had in our lives, and that we aren't alone. And just because some people can't see that doesn't mean there's something wrong with us. It's something wrong with them, and it's something they have to deal with.
Right.
That's what it is, in my opinion. And, that's kind of where I've had that switch up, versus in the past.
One thing that which kind of relates to taking 2021, a new year, a new change, a new direction, is that I did this a little bit in 2020 when I was training for my half marathon. I was in a great mindset. I was on a high. I finished it, I ran it, I completed it, and then as you know, I went down to Florida for a quick 3-week internship. Mm-hmm. I was alone. I did have my aunt and my uncle, but I had no friends. I was working from 8 to 8 every night. It struggled, and that kind of put me on a slow decline to the end of 2020 to 2020. And what I've been doing, and I thank Nick Foles, I don't even know him, I thank him for this, but after watching his Super Bowl MVP speech 3 years ago, he said, they're like, oh, what are you going to do next? And he's like, I'm taking this moment in. So what I've been doing in 2021 is I take life by moments, by not even days, by moments. So every day I have my goals for the day. I write them out. I make sure that I keep myself disciplined. But I don't look at life like a week ahead, this ahead, that ahead. I take it, I appreciate the moment, I understand it, I look into it. I make sure that what I am doing is important to me and it's valued. Mm-hmm. And that's how I've been taking 2021. And it's actually slowly been increasing mental health, energy, everything that I want to achieve, I see progress. Whether it's a small one more push-up a day, anything, another mile, you can see it. And that's just from self-discipline, self-love, and self-worth, like the affirmations you said. So definitely,
no, I love that. I love that. That's fantastic.
It's about establishing a direction in your life. If you don't have a direction, you're just going to be wandering around looking for the next thing that will make you happy in the moment, but in reality, in the long run, it might not be good for you, you know? Like what's like an example I'm trying to think of here. It's like, you know, one thing that certainly does it for me is like video games, you know? Like I will sit in my room and play video games by myself, not talking to anyone, for hours. And at the moment, it's fun, keeps me entertained. But you know, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna be like, wow, I wasted that time for no reason. I could have been doing this, this, and this, and I could have had, you know, a hierarchy of goals that I could have already achieved if I would stop wasting my time.
But why do you consider that wasting time?
I don't think there's any benefit to it.
There is a benefit to it.
What?
You just don't see it.
What is that?
You love playing video games. It is something that you enjoy doing in the moment.
Yeah.
You, regardless of whether it's Warzone or Madden or, you know, Fortnite or whatever the game is, if you play it that much, you're clearly good at it. And whether you play by yourself or you play online with your friends, that's something, you know, you're good at. And that's something that's stimulating your mind at the time. Is it temporary? Yeah. But that's still something you should look at and be like, damn, you know, I enjoy playing video games.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting my time doing it. I just, you know, it's just, you know, it's something, you know, it's an interesting way, in my opinion, you should look at it. You know, is it temporary? Yeah. But then after that, move on to something else. Don't look and be like, I wasted my time playing video games, because we're not wasting our time playing video games. Video games are something a lot of people like to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I do too. You know, do I wish I had more games and different games? Yeah, because I play the same like 2 games, Cold War and 2K every day. But I look at it and I'm like, okay, you know, I'm getting better at this. I'm getting better at zombies. I'm getting better, you know, at 2K and stuff like that. Where I'm not as much looking at it as, damn, I wasted my time.
Perhaps it's not really. Maybe I worded it wrong. Maybe it's not wasting my time. What I'm trying to say is maybe there is something more meaningful out there. Maybe if I were to just put the controller down and go see if there was. You know, I'll do a little soul searching, see like what else could I be doing with my time that would not only be more productive, but would also maybe make me even happier than the video game does in the mall. I don't know.
No, I get that. Maybe, yeah, no, I get that.
That applies to a lot of stuff. That applies to a lot of stuff, not just video games. Obviously, that applies to, you know, some people question why they're, you know, at college getting an education when they could be instead out in the workforce making money, you know, progressing with their life. It's all. I think it ties down to, like, I guess, personal preference, but you know, it always is a lingering question in my mind, like, how can I? This is like one of the most important things that I've been trying to ask myself over the past couple months, is how can I use my time more efficiently to make myself happier and create more meaning in my life. That's the key word that I always say to myself, is meaning. Is what I'm doing meaningful, you know?
A lot of the influencers that I follow on social media are people that are kings like us. So I follow Steve Weatherford. I don't know if you guys know him, but check him out.
Yeah,
I've heard of him.
Awesome.
He used to be on the
Giants.
Yeah.
But he taught me the word commitment. Not goal, not resolution. Yes, those are words. Commit to something and do it. Like, if you're committed to this, there is nothing that can stop you from completing that task. Yeah. So what I wrote last year for my goals was 2020 goals. I hung it up on my wall. This year, I wrote 2021 commitment, because I'm committed to making those changes in my life, to doing better, doing this, to doing that. Because I know that if I commit to it, I will see change. I will develop. I will grow. I will get better. That's definitely something that
I love that a lot. And, you know, on the basis of that, you know, this is something I've done this year that I did not do in 2020, and what a large percentage of people still struggling to do. Regardless of what happens in the news or what happens around us, people were so quick to jump and say 2020 was bad. And a lot of times I believe, more so now than I ever did, the manifestation of things coming into existence. In that okay, we lost Kobe. The Australian fires, social unrest in the country and everything like that. And people were saying, like, and then COVID, people were saying, oh, damn, 2020 is not our year.
Yeah.
And then what happened? A lot of people were unhappy. A lot of people hated 2020. Where more so for me, in 2021, I said, no, I'm not saying that anymore. I've had so many of my friends, family, and whatnot, that already say, damn, 2021 is not going to be a good year. At least we have 2022. Okay, what's going to happen then? When 2022 happens, one thing bad happens. Are you going to say the same thing? No, I said to a lot of people that I'm not giving up on 2021 yet. I don't care if COVID's still here. I don't care if blah, blah, blah is going through blah, blah, blah. I'm going to make 2021 the best year I can. And I'm going to quote our high school principal. I'm going to control what I can control. Because 2021 is the year of great things for us. We struggled, or some of us didn't. Some people actually prospered that no one talks about in 2020. But a lot of people struggled. In my opinion, it could not get as low as 2020 was. So now, as long as you continue to discipline yourself, or you're learning, you're growing, and you're showing commitment like you mentioned, there's no way 2021 can be as bad as 2020. I think 2021 is the way up. And I'm not going to say, and I've said this, like I've reposted on Instagram story, I'm not letting COVID stop me. I'm going to be responsible and smart, of course. But if I want to go do something, I'm going to go do it.
Exactly.
And I think more people need to do that. People are using this disease as an excuse to not do things, to not find their own happiness, as like we said before. And I think it's ridiculous. Go do what you want to do. Go do what you put your mind to. Forget everything else. And that's what I'm doing more so this year than I ever did in the past year. That's why, I wanted to be here. I was like, you know what? I want to do something different. Let me get on a podcast with Garrett and Luke. Let me do something different. Let me do Christmas pictures and do photo shoots and stuff like that, Let me continue to do more and more and stuff like that. And let me continue to be around people I haven't been around in a while, because these type of people maybe make me happier and stuff like that. Or maybe these people give me a unique perspective on life. That's just the difference between me in 2021 more so than 2020. I'm making that list of things, like you said, that I want to commit to, that I want to see follow through. And for the people out there that, don't see it the way I do, then, I hate to say it, continue to struggle the way you do.
Yeah, that's right.
But the people who do see it, like us and like everybody else, that do see it that way, you're going to grow and prosper. I've said to not so many people, but I've said to a certain amount of people when 2021 started, that 2021 is your year. Because I'm not just saying that to fluff or to compliment or make you feel good. I believe it, because there's certain people out there that I know that are mentally tough, that are disciplined, that are ready, like you, for an example, that are like, you know what, it's going to get better from here. And that's just something that I believe in, and that's something I'm sticking with, because there's just no way that 2021 can't be a good year. I think it's going to be a great year. But it's also going to be only as great as you want to make it.
Exactly.
You can't just sit around and look at the negatives and stuff like that all the time. And guess what? Negatives are going to happen. Yeah. We're going to get hit with obstacles for the rest of our life. Are you going to get socked in the face and stay down, or are you going to get socked in the face, or are you going to stand up and freaking punch back? Like,
Rocky Balboa.
Literally the GOAT. Like, come on.
It's not about how hard you can hit. It's about how hard you get hit. You keep moving forward.
This reminds me of a quote, and we could close on this quote, I guess, is... You ever seen the movie Coach Carter?
Yes.
Great movie.
Fantastic.
When he asks Cruz, what's your deepest fear? He says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most shines. And by us letting our light shine, we then give people, leeway to let their light shine, like liberation to let their light shine. So I think by us being kings, demonstrating this, committing to what we want to be, doing this, being ourselves, valuing ourselves, self-worth, we then allow other people to say, hey, that ain't so bad. Maybe I want that lifestyle.
We can help kings be kings.
Yes.
And then hopefully us being kings can also inspire a lot of women out there to be queens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we can ignore, the toxic people. We can ignore the ignorant people. We can ignore the people that only see the negatives. Hopefully, what we can do inspires others. That's something I've lived for my entire life. So I agree with that 100%.
And we build this world back up from the inside out to other people. I think that's something that we have to influence people around us, and then hopefully that'll expand like they say it does. So
preach.
Definitely that. One thing I want to close with, anything we got to say to the young fellas out there that are going through this right now? We got kids that are 5th, 6th, 7th grade watching this. So any advice for them? They're about to get in their teen years.
Yeah.
Big years for them.
One thing I'll say, and it certainly was applicable to my life too, is, you're at an age where you're going to face a lot of ups. You're going to face a lot of downs, probably more downs than ups. You're gonna move on from your what you know to be your everyday life. And sometimes it takes a toll on you, like going to college, meeting new friends, losing contact with people that you grew up with. Don't get demotivated by that. You gotta let it sort of drive you, because if you let all of those bad things pile up and snowball and affect you in your everyday life, then there's no way you'll be able to be the person that you want to be. You need to let the bad drive you to strive for something greater.
I agree.
There's my wisdom.
But also I feel like the young kids right now are going to do so much better than us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because they were young during this rough time.
Very rough.
They are learning from it.
Yeah.
And they are going to catch on to it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only going to get better. So I'm actually very excited, for the younger kids that are watching this, but also living their life right now, because they're going to learn. They're already learning from a young age that we didn't have the opportunity to learn from, because when we were younger, life was more normal than this. Mm-hmm. And because they are learning in this crazy time, they're going to be amazing individuals.
Yeah.
And that's the fantastic.
And that's certainly true, because kids at a younger age, they take in a lot more. They're more susceptible to learning new concepts and expanding their thought horizon than we are. We're already acclimated to a certain way of thought, whereas younger kids, they'll learn from this. They'll say, hey, back then, this crap was going on, this is what I can do from there. It's harder for an older not older, but it's harder for a more matured individual like you or I or Luke to, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Take the lesson away, because we're not as susceptible to
understanding
and thinking outside the box and we have less creativity with our thoughts, so we're less susceptible to being able to change our thoughts, the way we think.
Exactly.
So
So yeah, I think that the key for them is to, if they want to do something, go do it. Don't worry about someone else.
Yeah.
And you guys will be the ones that inspire a generation. So that is the conclusion of episode 3.
Part 1.
If we have a part 2, you'll definitely be on again. This is awesome.
I am honored.
Pleasure to be with you,
for
Miles.
having me. Thank you for having me.
Is there any last remarks you want to say to everyone before we close this?
If you made it to the end of this, you are amazing. You clearly have the capacity to want to learn and improve, because we spit fire on this. And, I'm excited to hopefully be part of more in the long run.
Absolutely.
And, I loved this whole project. And I think, like we were saying in the podcast, this contributes to our commitment to doing things and accomplishing things in 2021. But, once again, thank you for having me on.
Of course.
All right.
That's it.
Episode 3 in the books.
Conclusion of episode 3. First guest, Miles. That's it. See you.
It's a wrap.